Welcome to the Note to Self podcast. I'm your host, Zoe. I'm a certified professional life coach, serial entrepreneur, verified YouTuber, and published author. On this podcast, you can expect actionable tips, reflections, and inspiration to live your best, most fulfilling life. So, let's get started. Hello, everyone, and welcome to another episode of Note to Self. Today's Note to Self is my current view on surrender. I really want to dive into this because I feel like this has transformed for me over time. And I do feel like there's a lot of messaging out there in the world around surrender. And I just want to create more empowerment around this understanding. So I'm going to be sharing my view of surrender, and that maybe that is a little bit controversial, but I do think that it will and can allow you to claim more personal power if that's what you're desiring in your life. So let's get into it. Previously in my life, I've sort of was introduced to surrender and have sort of seen surrender be explained in this way or displayed in this way as you in the law of attraction sense or creating your desired future, desired outcomes. It's getting clear on what you want and then letting it go and going about your life, maybe going to the beach, lying down, or going about day to day and waiting for that of which you desire to make its way to you, right? There's sort of this idea, and I'm just probably going to exaggerate a little bit to make a point here, but it's sort of like, I've decided what I want, and now I'm going to go to the beach and I'm going to chill, and it's going to float by and make its way to me. I'm going to surrender. The way that I view surrender is that, yes, it's important to get clear on that of which you desire to have, and that clarity is so, so key. But then knowing that what you desire is yours. And I've got some episodes on this podcast all about how your desires are divine. And once you really anchor in that belief, you know that anything of which you desire is meant for you, that you are worthy of, that it will happen. But for me, I'm a go-getter. I actually enjoy taking action towards the things that light me up, and my desires are those things that light me up. So when it comes to surrender for me, I'm going to decide what I want and I'm going to surrender the how, right? Because the universe and its magical divine orchestration, we know that the universe always knows the path of least resistance. And for our desires to make their way into our reality, most of the time, I bet you guys, you can think about a time in your life where something magnificent happened, a manifestation occurred, and there's no way that you could have put together those pieces or that divine unfolding yourself. And that's where it's important to surrender the how to source. Plus, us trying to figure out the how is always very mentally exhausting. The ego is just running circles and squares and all over the place trying to figure out the how. If we just decide to surrender the how to source, that creates a whole new level of spaciousness. So I surrender the how to source always. It just boggles my mind. It's way too exhausting for me to think about or try to comprehend or try to control or construct the how and manifesting the how, right? That's not my job. That's not our job as creators on planet Earth. We are co-creating with Source, God, universe at all times. So surrender to me does not mean giving the fuck up. And that's really what I want to drive home today, is that if you're someone who your desires are lighting you up right now and it feels exciting to you to work on your business, or it feels exciting to you to create a vision board, it feels exciting to you to think about, to imagine your desire being in your life, whether that's a romantic partnership, maybe that's a large sum of money, maybe that's you going on a shopping spree, maybe that's you buying a house, right? So if that feels exciting to you, you don't have to forget about it. You don't have to give up on it. My personal, I feel like manifestation for me has changed over time, where manifestation is quite an effortless act for me now. And that's because I've trained my brain to let go of the how, understanding that that will be the part in which I will exercise surrender. Anytime I catch my ego or have caught my ego in the past trying to figure out the how, I always just say, no, I'm going to surrender. I surrender that. But I'm going to take action. And those actions, I'm not telling you to, hustle and be occupied with tasks and doing all the time, right? And trying. It's not like that. It's more of I know what I want and I'm going to make moves to bring clarity, to bring information to myself, to work my magic on the way there. So let's say, like for me personally, I am desiring to purchase property in Bali. That's something that's in my field right now. That's something that I'm exploring. I know that that will be made manifest. I'm in no rush about it. I'm surrendering the how, right? The universe actually has the property, the home, the villa in mind that's meant to be mine already. It's already happened. That's why I feel so strongly about it. And the actions that I'm taking on a day to day is not occupying myself, exhausting my ego, trying to figure out all the hows of which this is going to happen. I'm simply on different Instagram accounts looking at property in Bali. I am, getting curious, looking on Pinterest. I'm watching YouTube videos about people who have constructed their own villas in Bali or who are in that process, right? So as you can see, I'm following my desires and I'm following and supporting myself with creative, inspiring content that have to do with my desire. So in that way, right? Because any content that we come across or anything that's sort of in the field of that of which we desire, it's providing the information that our brain needs to build familiarity in the subconscious mind for that of which we desire. When we've implanted the belief in the subconscious mind, like I have ownership of the property in Bali that I desire, let's say, to get to that extent, right? To get to that full belief, to have it be made manifest in the physical, there has to be a certain amount of familiarity brought in and brought forward in the matrix. So at this point in time, you can say that I'm sort of collecting information. I'm gathering data. My subconscious mind and my being is getting familiar with what it could look like, what it does look like, what designs and structures and all of that look like in Bali, or what people have shared about their journey of purchasing, owning property, or building their dream homes in Bali. So as you can see, it's like I'm not giving up. I'm not saying, okay, I want a villa in Bali universe and I'm going to go to the beach every day and I'm just going to like daydream and chill out. Yeah, your desires will be made manifest. But what I'm saying is that I like things to happen. I like when I know what I want, I'm going for it. And it feels exciting for me to go for it. It feels very purposeful for me to go for it. So I'm not surrendering, as in I'm not giving up. I know what I want. I brought clarity to it. I've claimed that to the universe. And I let the how be sorted by the universe. But I'm providing myself the information, the inspiration, the creativity, right? I'm just fueling that vision. And I'm taking aligned action, right? Because an aligned action could be, I'm going to click on this YouTube video where someone's sharing about house hunting in Bali. Or, you know what? I am going to listen to this podcast that crossed my field about investing in property because that's like, I'm interested in that. That's what I'm passionate about right now. So again, I think some of the messaging out there, this is another form of the messaging out there around law of attraction, is like, decide what you want and let it go. No. If it's something that's lighting you up, it would be almost punishing to not think about it. And I think sometimes surrender can subconsciously be used as a way to self-abandon. Because when something is important to you, it's passionate and it's lighting you up, and it's a new opportunity, it's a new future, it's something that's new that you've never explored before, the ego can start to get a little bit resistant, right? As the ego does when we explore new things, when we take on new endeavors. And I think surrender can sometimes be a sort of a spiritual bypassing, like a self-abandonment. Like, okay, I've decided and I'm going to like let it go because it feels scary to go after that of which we desire sometimes. Fears get brought up from the subconscious when we make moves towards our dreams. But it's all natural. So perhaps consider this frame of, I'm going to surrender the how, but I'm not going to give the fuck up on what's lighting me up inside. I'm going to continue to fuel my inspiration, fuel my creativity, and do everything that feels good and drop everything that doesn't feel good. Because I guarantee that if you have a dream, it doesn't feel good to just drop it, right? It actually feels good to feel like you're making steps towards that every single day. And the steps can simply be listening to a podcast, watching a YouTube video, creating a vision board on Pinterest, right? It doesn't have to be big moves like I'm putting a down payment. It's just simply building familiarity towards your dreams and that of which you desire. So I hope that this episode sparked something in you around surrender and just claiming your desires and the belief that you have that these things will be made manifest, and trusting that that it's safe for you to follow. It's safe for you to follow your divine desires. It is safe guidance to follow that of which is lighting you up inside. I would love to invite you all to a masterclass that I'm holding called Abundance Embodied at the end of July. I'm really going to be talking and activating within you the trust and the faith to follow your desires and to create the means to allow that to happen through financial abundance. This is definitely themed on our relationship with money, but it starts with your desires, right? Because you know that quite often in life, that of which we desire might cost money, or actually our ability to generate and earn money would allow that path to become more easy, would allow that path to feel more effortless, would allow that all to become more clear. So I'm really going to be diving into creating a safe, beautiful, clear channel for money to come to you. And yeah, like what I said about safe there is that like the body, it's important for the body to feel safe to welcome in new levels of financial abundance. And we're really going to be tapping into that learning and that awareness. So sending you so much love, and I'll see you there, and have a beautiful, abundant day. Thank you for listening to Note to Self. If you enjoyed this episode, please help me out by rating and reviewing this show on Spotify and Apple Podcasts. If my energy is resonating with you and you feel the call to work with me, there are an abundance of ways to do so. I offer one-to-one life coaching programs, mastermind containers, and DIY courses, all of which are available through my website, zoearielpoulsen.com. Until next time, take note of all the abundance that surrounds you as you make the most of this game called life.